NEC Article 110.25 addresses the practice of locking overcurrent protection devices, or OCTs, in the on position. This article provides specific guidelines and conditions that must be met to ensure safety and compliance when implementing such a practice. It is generally permissible to lock a circuit breaker or disconnect switch in the on position under certain circumstances, primarily to maintain the continuity of critical circuits or equipment. The primary condition for allowing the locking of an OCT in the on position is that the lock used must be of a type that can be readily removed by authorized personnel. This requirement ensures that, in case of an emergency or when maintenance is required, qualified individuals can easily access and energize the circuit without unnecessary delay or complications. The purpose of this stipulation is to prevent situations where a circuit needs to be shut down quickly, but the lock prevents immediate access. Another important condition is that the lock must be installed in a manner that does not prevent access to the disconnect means of the circuit. The disconnect means is the mechanism used to manually de-energize the circuit, typically a switch or circuit breaker handle. The lock should not obstruct or hinder the operation of this disconnect means, ensuring that it remains accessible for emergency shutdowns or maintenance procedures. This provision is critical for maintaining electrical safety and preventing hazardous situations. In addition to the lock itself, the circuit must be clearly labeled to indicate that the OCT is locked in the on position. This labeling should be conspicuous and easily visible to anyone working on or near the electrical equipment. The label serves as a warning that the OCT cannot be switched off through normal means and that special procedures may be required to de-energize the circuit. Proper labeling helps prevent accidental or uninformed attempts to switch off the circuit, which could lead to unexpected equipment behavior or safety hazards. In summary, NEC Article 110.25 permits the locking of OCTs in the on position if three conditions are met. Firstly, the lock must be readily removable by authorized personnel. Secondly, the lock must not prevent access to the disconnect means. And thirdly, the circuit must be clearly labeled to indicate that the OCT is locked in the on position. These requirements ensure that the practice is implemented safely and does not compromise the ability to energize the circuit when necessary. When implementing the practice of locking OCTs in the on position, it is essential to consider the specific context and application. This practice is typically used for circuits that power critical equipment or systems, such as emergency lighting, fire alarms, or life support systems. In these situations, maintaining the continuity of power is paramount, and preventing accidental or unauthorized shutdowns is crucial. However, it is also important to ensure that the practice does not create additional hazards or compromise safety. Before locking an OCT in the on position, a thorough risk assessment should be conducted to identify potential hazards and implement appropriate safeguards. This assessment should consider factors such as the type of equipment powered by the circuit, the potential consequences of a shutdown, and the availability of alternative power sources. Based on the risk assessment, specific procedures and protocols should be developed for managing the locked OCT. These procedures should outline the steps to be taken in case of an emergency, such as a fire or equipment malfunction, and should clearly identify authorized personnel who are permitted to remove the lock. The procedures should also specify how the circuit will be de-energized for maintenance or repairs. In addition to the NEC requirements, it is essential to comply with any applicable local codes, regulations, or company policies regarding the locking of OCTs. These additional requirements may impose further restrictions or specifications on the practice, such as the type of locks that can be used or the labeling requirements for the circuit. It is also important to provide adequate training to all personnel who may work on or near the electrical equipment. This training should cover the purpose of the locked OCT, the procedures for de-energizing the circuit, and the potential hazards associated with the equipment. Proper training helps ensure that personnel understand the importance of the locked OCT and can safely perform their duties without compromising safety. The NEC also contains other articles that relate to the safe operation and maintenance of electrical systems. These articles provide guidance on various aspects of electrical safety, such as grounding, overcurrent protection, and wiring methods. It is important to be familiar with these articles and to apply them appropriately when working on electrical systems. For example, NEC Article 250 provides requirements for grounding and bonding electrical systems to minimize the risk of electric shock. This article specifies the types of grounding electrodes that can be used, the size of grounding conductors, and the methods for bonding metal enclosures and equipment. Properly grounding and bonding electrical systems helps ensure that fault currents can flow safely back to the source, tripping overcurrent protection devices and preventing dangerous voltage levels from developing on metal surfaces. NEC Article 240 provides requirements for overcurrent protection, including the selection and installation of circuit breakers and fuses. This article specifies the maximum allowable overcurrent protection for various types of conductors and equipment, and it also provides guidance on coordinating overcurrent protection devices to minimize the extent of an outage. Properly sizing and coordinating overcurrent protection devices helps protect electrical systems from damage due to overloads and short circuits, preventing fires and equipment failures. NEC Article 300 provides general requirements for wiring methods, including the installation of conductors, cables, and raceways. This article specifies the types of wiring methods that can be used in various locations and applications, and it also provides guidance on protecting conductors from physical damage and environmental conditions. Properly installing wiring systems helps ensure that conductors are protected from damage and that electrical circuits operate safely and reliably. In addition to these specific articles, the NEC also contains general requirements that apply to all electrical installations. These general requirements cover topics such as workmanship, identification of circuits, and access to electrical equipment. Following these general requirements helps ensure that electrical installations are performed safely and in accordance with industry standards. When working on electrical systems, it is essential to use appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, to minimize the risk of electric shock and other hazards. PPE includes items such as safety glasses, rubber gloves, and insulated tools. Safety glasses protect the eyes from flying debris, rubber gloves protect the hands from electric shock, and insulated tools prevent current from flowing through the body. Using appropriate PPE helps reduce the risk of electrical injuries and ensures that electrical work is performed safely. It is also important to follow lockout/tagout procedures when working on de-energized electrical equipment. Lockout/tagout procedures involve disconnecting the power supply to the equipment and placing a lock and tag on the disconnect means to prevent accidental re-energization. These procedures help ensure that electrical equipment remains energized while work is being performed, preventing electric shock and other hazards. In addition to the NEC, other standards and guidelines may apply to electrical installations. These standards and guidelines may be developed by organizations such as the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IEE, the National Electrical Manufacturers Association, or NEMA, and the American National Standards Institute, or ANSI. It is important to be familiar with these standards and guidelines and to apply them appropriately when working on electrical systems. For example, IEE Standard 519 provides recommendations for harmonic control in electrical power systems. Harmonics are distortions in the voltage and current waveforms that can cause equipment overheating, nuisance tripping of circuit breakers, and other problems. IEE Standard 519 specifies limits for harmonic distortion and provides guidance on mitigating harmonic problems. NEMA standards cover a wide range of electrical equipment, including motors, transformers, and switchgear. These standards specify performance requirements, testing procedures, and safety requirements for electrical equipment. ANSI standards cover a wide range of topics, including electrical safety, wiring methods, and equipment installation. These standards provide guidance on ensuring that electrical systems are designed, installed, and operated safely and reliably. Staying up to date on the latest electrical codes, standards, and guidelines is essential for ensuring that electrical work is performed safely and in accordance with industry best practices. The electrical industry is constantly evolving and new technologies and techniques are being developed all the time. By staying informed about the latest developments, electrical professionals can ensure that they are providing their clients with the best possible service and that they are protecting themselves and others from electrical hazards. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and it is important to obtain the latest edition of the code and to familiarize oneself with the changes. The NEC changes reflect the latest advancements in electrical technology and safety practices, and they are designed to improve the safety and reliability of electrical installations. In addition to the NEC, many states and local jurisdictions also have their own electrical codes and regulations. These local codes and regulations may be more stringent than the NEC, and it is important to comply with them when working on electrical installations. Local electrical inspectors are responsible for enforcing these codes and regulations, and they can provide guidance on how to comply with them. When planning an electrical installation, it is important to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor. These professionals can help ensure that the installation is designed and installed in accordance with all applicable codes, standards, and regulations. They can also provide guidance on selecting the appropriate equipment and materials, and they can help ensure that the installation is performed safely and reliably. In addition to the technical aspects of electrical work, it is also important to consider the ethical implications of one's actions. Electrical professionals have a responsibility to protect the public from electrical hazards, and they should always act in a manner that is consistent with this responsibility. This includes following all applicable codes, standards, and regulations, and it also includes reporting any unsafe conditions or practices to the appropriate authorities. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility, and everyone has a role to play in ensuring that electrical systems are safe and reliable. By working together, electrical professionals, homeowners, and the general public can help prevent electrical accidents and injuries. When it comes to locking octs in the on position, it is crucial to remember the overarching goal of electrical safety. This practice should only be implemented when it enhances safety or maintains critical operations, and it should never be used as a shortcut or a way to circumvent safety procedures. The conditions outlined in NEC Article 110.25 are designed to ensure that the practice is implemented safely and that the ability to energize the circuit is not compromised. In conclusion, NEC Article 110.25 provides a framework for safely locking oct in the on position. By adhering to the conditions outlined in this article, and by considering the broader context of electrical safety, electrical professionals can ensure that this practice is implemented responsibly and that it contributes to a safer electrical environment. The readily removable lock, the accessibility of the disconnect means, and the clear labeling are all critical components of a safe and compliant installation. And always remember to consult local codes and regulations, as they may have additional requirements or restrictions.